In this episode, we're going to talk about some of the latest headlines in the NFL. Episode 63 of N1 from the End Zone starts now.
You're watching the latest episode of N1 from the End Zone. Please click on that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops. Now, let's kick it.
Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of N1 from the End Zone with your host, King NTV. You know that's me, baby. Now, before we get into it, I want to take a brief moment to thank all of you guys, my subscribers. We're on a quest to 20,000 subs, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And we're actually over 100,000 views. We're on a quest to 200,000 for the year. So guys, share the videos. Let everybody you know, your mom, your dad, your cats, your dogs, everybody watch the episodes. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's transition into the NFL. First topic we're going to talk about is the Dallas Cowboys trading for George Pickens. They are sending a 2026 third-round pick and a 2027 fifth-round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers in exchange for Pickens and a 2027 sixth-round pick. In my personal opinion, Jerry could have just easily kept his picks, could have probably scouted and drafted a receiver. He's done historically a great job drafting receivers, from Michael Irving to Des Bryant to now CeeDee Lamb. Michael Gallup was a decent number 3 slot receiver. He's traded for Amari Cooper. I think they still got Brandon Cook. So the fact that they're getting George Pickens, and he's also, I think, trying to get paid if he doesn't already have a contract extension. Now, the reason why I don't like this move personally is because realistically, we know Mike McCarthy was calling the plays last year in Dallas, right? We don't know how good of an offensive coordinator or a play caller Brian Schottenheimer is, unless he's going to give that role to his offensive coordinator. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, historically speaking, wide receivers that leave Pittsburgh have not ended up well recently. We can look at Antonio Brown after he left Pittsburgh for the Raiders. Then he never played a snap for the Raiders, in fact. And then he went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then there was, who else? Deontay Johnson got traded away from Pittsburgh. Never really had the resurgence in the NFL that he was seeking. Let's not forget about Chase Claypool, ladies and gentlemen. Chase Claypool got traded and was traded, I think, to the Bears. Then he was traded someplace else, or he's moved around a couple of different locations, and it just hasn't worked out for him. Now, with that being said, George Pickens, he's been a problem in the locker room. That's already been established. Will he bring his best attitude to the Dallas Cowboys, where he's clearly going to be a number 2 receiver? The number 1 is CeeDee Lamb. The guy that wears number 88 is the number 1 wide receiver. He's the guy, right? They got Brandon. I don't know if they still got Brandon Cooks. I think he still might be there. He might not be. But Pickens is going to be the number 2, right? Considering that Dallas doesn't have a real run game right now, I could see the balls being thrown to him at a fair rate. I could see him getting about anywhere between 6 to 9 catches a game, maybe between 7 to 10 targets a game. The other portion is probably going to be going to CeeDee Lamb. But I don't know. I personally don't like this move for the Cowboys. I think Jerry could have just kept his pick. He gave us, my 49ers, my beloved 49ers, a 4th-round pick for Trey Lance. And Trey Lance has not been worth a 4th-round pick since he got drafted by us. Okay, so the fact that Jerry is just wheeling and dealing his picks when he has a track record of actually being able to draft good talent is kind of alarming to me, to be completely honest with you. And not to disparage Cowboys fans or anything, but realistically, I don't see them making the playoffs even with this move. They're going to be relying heavily on their offense, and I don't know if they've done enough this offseason to improve their defense. They're paying everybody. Dak is I think one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. I just don't see it this year for Dallas, especially with the likes of the Washington Commanders having a second year with Jaden Daniels and their entire coaching staff. I realistically think he's going to go through a sophomore slump similar to CJ Stroud, but they got the Commanders they got to contend with. They have the Eagles, who are the reigning Super Bowl champions, they have to contend with, whose roster is still basically fully intact. A lot of players are coming back. They still got that stacked offense with uh, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Jahan Dotson, and Devontae Smith. Like, they got weapons galore. They got way more weapons than the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys only got two legitimate wide receivers, Deuce Vaughn. He wasn't even Deuce Vaughn and Rico Dowdle, and neither one of them realistically hasn't developed a run game. Is their offensive line developing as the seasons go by? Maybe, perhaps. They have historically drafted great offensive linemen. Maybe that'll help with their run game, but we'll wait and see. I really do not believe in the Dallas Cowboys this year, and I think they're going to end up third, maybe even fourth, depending on what the New York Giants do with Russell Wilson, with Jameis Winston, and with Jackson Dart, who they drafted in the NFL draft this year, the Ole Miss kid. So we'll wait and see. They might end up fourth, they might end up third, but I don't see them making the playoffs this year. Moving on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so let's talk about my guy, my quarterback, my QB1, Brock Rockin' Sockin' Motherfucking Purdy, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, that is the name I have given him. Been calling him Brock Rockin' Sockin' since day one. First year when he started. Sticking to it, trademarking it. That's my guy. We are signing him, or we have signed him. The 49ers have signed him to a reported 5-year, $265 million deal, averaging at $53 million a year, which is right now tied for 7th in the league, which is phenomenal for the 49ers. He deserves every penny of it, in my personal opinion. Took us to back-to-back NFC championship games in the first 2 years. Then he took us to a Super Bowl his second year, first full year actually starting. And last year was a down year for the team as a whole. Considering that just considering all the injuries, Trent Williams going down with an injury, then losing a child, for Various Ward losing a child and being out for multiple weeks. Not to mention Brandon Ayuk, I think tearing his ACL. Then we had Ricky Pearsall being shot. Then we had CMC also being injured, and we were down to, I think, our 4th or 5th string running back at one point. We had a lot of turbulence last year, and even through all that turbulence, Brock still managed to have a solid year, averaging 8.5 yards per pass attempt. He threw for 3,800 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. Not a bad year, not a great year, not what we were used to seeing the numbers he was putting up his first 2 years. But overall, with what he's done in the league, what he's done for the Niners, especially in a moment where we were relying on Trey Lance to be that guy and not really developing into being that starter, and Brock just taking over the reins as Mr. Irrelevant and maintaining his standard. Even though last year it was a down year, it was a huge letdown year. It can't be solely put on Brock. Even when he did perform well, there were games where our defense couldn't stop shit, and there was also moments where our special teams couldn't bail us out. So there were a lot of circumstances why last year we didn't end up winning the games. I watched every single 49ers game last year, and I can't just put it on Brock. And I'm excited about securing our quarterback for the long term. People that have been comparing him to Dak Prescott need to stop. No offense, Dak is not on Brock's level. I think every time Brock has faced Dak, the Cowboys have lost so that should go to show you. And I know everybody will say, "Oh, it's about the team and whatever." That is true. However, Jerry Jones had a Super Bowl winning head coach in Mike McCarthy. He had, in my opinion, with all due respect to my wide receivers, even though I think we have a super talented wide receiver room, CeeDee Lamb is a special wide receiving talent. He's him. Who was Amari Cooper when they had him? great player. Brandon Cooks last year, Brandon Cooks, a lot of people forget that he was the number one option on many teams. He was the number one option for the Patriots at one point. He was the number one option for the Rams. He's been around the league for a while now. He's I think still with the Cowboys, or was with the Cowboys. Now they have George Pickens over there. It doesn't matter who they have. George Pickens, George Washington, Michael George. I don't care. Niners always gonna smack. Always gonna smack. But going back to the main subject, Brock, there were players who left the franchise who I love. Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, great players, trying to take shots at Brock Purdy, and the fact that he needed to get this contract negotiation done. To be completely honest, as much as I would have loved to have those guys still with us, they were very injury-prone players. In the last, I think, 2 or 3 seasons, Talanoa Hufanga has not been able to play a full 17-game season, and his seasons have ended due to injury. Same with Dre Greenlaw. The extensions that they were probably seeking, they got from the Denver Broncos, and that's great for them. They got paid. They got paid for their services because they are elite talent. But fact of the matter is they have a quarterback over there that's still on that rookie pay scale, right? Brock deserves the contract that he got. And frankly, with the way the draft played out, I'm excited for it, especially because I know we didn't get an offensive lineman, but we got DJ Humphries in free agency. He is a former first-round pick. I think he's a former number 1 overall pick by the Arizona Cardinals. He was out with the torn ACL, I think, last year. Didn't play. We signed him. He might be the backup, and that might honestly be a solid solution for the 49ers. I'm excited. I'm excited, especially because this offseason has not had any drama go along with it. Everybody's been focused. Everybody's on the same page. Even Brock, when he was going through his contract negotiations, has been zeroed in, focused on what the team can accomplish this year, and the vibes feel right. We also got a backup in Mac Jones, who realistically should have been the quarterback we drafted instead of Trey Lance, with, I think, the number 2 overall pick. Honestly, Mac Jones's NFL career would have probably been a lot better if Kyle hadn't been talked out of going for Mac or going for Trey. I think Mac could have been the quarterback for us many moons ago, but now we have Brock. Mac is his backup. I am confident in our backup quarterback. He's a former first rounder. Took the Patriots to the playoffs. Has had opportunities. Has not had a good head coaching wherever he's been. No offense to Bill Belichick. When he had Josh McDaniels, a great offensive coordinator, offensive mind. Once he lost them, his career went to shit. And no offense to Doug Peterson, but Doug was 1 foot in, 1 foot out the door over in Jacksonville, and he really didn't have a shot. Now he's with the 49ers, and he's looking to do what Sam Darnold did with the Niners, and now look at where Sam Darnold's at. But yeah, Brock deserves his contract. Gonna have a great year this year. I put money on him finishing somewhere in the top for the MVP voting. Top 5. He's going to be a top 5 MVP candidate. The schedule has played out perfectly for the Niners. We should have at least 10 wins, if not 12 to 13, in my personal opinion. It feels right. Brock, I am more than confident, is going to be able to execute, and people are going to see that he is deserving of that contract. Everybody that thinks he's overpaid, continue to forget that the salary cap keeps going up every year. So right now that he might be the 7th, tied for 7th, but in the year he'll be 14 to 15, and then we'll have him tied down for another 3 or 4 years after that. Guys, this deal is amazing. It gives us a ton of flexibility on the roster too. So next year, after this season, we should have money opened up in the cap to be able to bring in some talent, re-sign some of the guys. And I'm excited. Brock is the guy. Be confident. In the next 5 years, I believe the Niners are gonna make another Super Bowl appearance, and I won't say we'll win it, but we'll hopefully have a shot at it. Hopefully, I think Brock can be that guy. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
Guys, have you heard? Nelson, tell the people.
Shady Mob Productions is an official affiliate of HBO Max. Click on the link in the description and sign up so you can watch hit series like Hard Knocks, Game of Thrones, and House of Dragons.
Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
If you're in the San Francisco Bay Area and want the best cut of your life, go check out Headspins Barbershop located in South San Francisco, the official barbershop of N1 from the End Zone. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. So the next topic we're going to cover is who will realistically be either the backup or the potential starter for the Cleveland Browns this season. They have Joe Flacco, they have Kenny Pickett on the roster, but the topic we're going to cover isn't necessarily about those two guys. It's more about Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. Right now, they're both in rookie minicamp. A lot of tape has come out for Shedeur. Not really a lot from Dillon Gabriel, but it looks, from what reports have come out, Shedeur against nobodies, against really just like the air, has looked great, has looked phenomenal. TikToks, you could see the video. Shedeur looks amazing in his uniform. He looks the part. Will he be able to play the part is the real question. Especially because we know the Cleveland Browns drafted Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round. A lot of positive things have come out from the Browns, from the general manager, from the head coach, about why they drafted Dillon Gabriel, the potential that they see in him. And they were downplaying the fact that they also drafted Shedeur, who they said they could see as a developmental quarterback who can develop into being into a good quarterback or a viable quarterback in the league someday. Now, after the tape and everything that's come out, it looks like there might be a real competition to see who the starting quarterback or who the backup, who they're actually going to invest in. From everything that's come out from reporters, Shedeur looks better. He looks like a quarterback for the NFL. Dillon Gabriel's small. He's small, and his arm does not look as strong. Now, realistically, Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry are going to want to start Dillon Gabriel before they start Shedeur. They're going to die on that horse. I believe that Dillon Gabriel will probably start at some point depending on the Browns schedule. I could see it being week 5 or week 6. And then if that doesn't work, I could see them moving on to Shedeur Sanders, because realistically, he does seem, from all reports, that he could be that guy. In my personal opinion, I thought he was a 3rd or 4th round quarterback. I thought the reason why he got picked in the 5th round was mainly because of everything that had been coming out by reporters during the draft process, and it hurt him. It clearly did hurt him. We're not going to act like it didn't, right? But with that being said, I did think that he could develop and eventually be a starter for the NFL by year 2 or year 3. With that being said, it looks like he might have his shot this year. And if that's the case, good for him. He deserves it. He's working his tail off. I've seen the narrative, the way that he's behaved before the draft to how he's behaving now. He's humbled himself. That, I'm not going to lie, that draft experience sounded like it humbled him. Completely humbled him. And I think that's for the betterment of his NFL career. That's for the betterment of his human being. And I think Shedeur is going to actually pan out. I really do. I think Dillon Gabriel has a shot, mainly because Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry believe in him, and they chose him in the 3rd round for a reason. I think it was so they wouldn't have to choose Shedeur. But the owner, Jimmy Haslam, he wanted Shedeur. They have him there. And Jimmy Haslam might have actually Jimmy Haslam might have exerted his power in the correct way in this scenario if what the reports coming out are true and accurate, and Shedeur really does look like that guy. Also, shout out to Shiloh Sanders down in Tampa, who looks like he's going to be a good safety for the Bucks. He's a Sanders. Hey, with all due respect to Shedeur Sanders, Shiloh, I think Shiloh has a better shot at having a Hall of Fame career in the NFL, mainly because his dad was a DB, cornerback in the NFL. One of the best cornerbacks of all time. Shiloh's got that DNA in him, but more than just the DNA, the instincts. Some of the instincts, the genes, they get passed out. But what I'm talking about is he was been able to learn from his father firsthand, who was a legendary cornerback in the league, legendary DB in the league. And I think Shiloh is going to benefit from all that knowledge, all that experience, and have a tremendous career. So shout out to Shiloh Sanders down in Tampa, who, from the reports coming out of rookie minicamp, looks like he's going to be the guy and might even be the starter for the Bucs this upcoming year. Good for him. Good for the Sanders boys. May they have the best NFL career. They have a great rookie season. It'd be incredible if Shedeur wins Rookie of the Year and Shiloh wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. Just saying. Now, a very hypothetical thing that I think could happen is if the Browns don't want to necessarily have that drama of having Shedeur in the locker room once preseason comes to an end, and they really do believe Dillon Gabriel is going to be that guy, could they trade Shedeur Sanders to the New Orleans Saints for a third, maybe fourth round pick? I'm just saying, like, the Saints don't have a quarterback right now. Actually, Spencer Rattler, I believe in him. I think he can develop into being that guy eventually. But they drafted Tyler Show this past they drafted Tyler Show in I think the second round. I've seen videos of the kid against air throwing balls in the dirt. I don't know, man. Maybe he can develop. If not, Spencer Rattler should be the guy this upcoming year. If it's neither one of those two, Shedeur Sanders is available. And again, preseason's going to come around. We'll see what happens. They might cut what Browns have 4 quarterbacks. Realistically, I think Joe Flacco stays because Joe Flacco's been a part of the system. He'll be the starter. And I think either Dillon Gabriel, I would be surprised if they put him on the practice squad. I think he'll make the roster. I also think Kenny Pickett might make the roster. If not, Kenny Pickett's the one that they cut, and then they keep Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders on the roster. If it's neither one of those two, whichever one gets put on that, whichever one of whether it's Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders who gets put on that practice squad, is going to New Orleans and is most likely going to become their starting quarterback at some point. Just my honest opinion.
Guys, join me, Alex the Man Angelov, and check out A&A Radio, where we're going to be talking about the latest and greatest financial news, investments, banking, and personal finance. Check out the channel, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
Guys, have you heard? Shady Mob Productions is an official affiliate of HBO Max. Click on the link in the description and sign up so you can watch hit series like Hard Knocks, Game of Thrones, and House of Dragons. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
Guys, you're watching a Shady Mob production. Make sure to follow the Shady Mob podcast, where we break down all the latest content and talk about life. Please make sure to share, like, comment, and subscribe so you can be notified when the latest content drops. All right, so Aaron Rodgers, ladies and gentlemen, has not signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers yet, but by all intents and purposes, it looks like the Steelers are going to be the team that he ends up going to. Right now, I don't know exactly what's going on with him, but from everything that's been reported, he's just dealing with a lot of personal issues, and his focus is not in the NFL right now. And if that is the case, I think he should retire and focus on the things that are going to bring him inner peace and tranquility and help him keep his mental health high, just maintaining his mental health. Because that is clearly something that he is passionate about, energies and vibes. As the years have gone by, at least the last 4 or 5 years, it seems like Aaron has dove deep into his spirituality, which is totally fine. But if that is the case, the NFL football is a very, very, very dangerous sport, ladies and gentlemen. It's probably better for him to step away from the game
in order to not put himself, his body, his life on the line. If he can fully commit, which is something that I hope he can do, because Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Fame quarterback. I know the last couple of years with the Jets has not gone his way, but Arthur Smith, in my personal opinion, is a better offensive mind than Nathaniel Hackett. And realistically, I think Arthur Smith could get the best out of Aaron Rodgers with the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially with the way that defense is built up. They got DJ Metcalf over there. I don't know who the running back currently is. I think it's still Tyler Warren. I think it's Tyler Warren. Warren. I forgot his first name. But Najee Harris isn't there. Warren, I think it was TJ Warren. When he stepped up, he was legitimately a fucking stud for the Steelers last year. He literally moved that ball with that offensive line. It hasn't been too great. And realistically, Pittsburgh always develops and has good receivers. They have DK Metcalf right now. And I think with Aaron Rodgers there, even though they have Mason Rudolph, they could do some things. It looks like the league has made the NFL schedule based on the Pittsburgh Steelers having Aaron Rodgers there. And if that's the case, man, I really hope he ends up going there, because I think Mike Tomlin with Aaron Rodgers would be a perfect duo. If it's not, I wish him the best, and it's been a hell of a career. Thank you, Aaron. You were a great quarterback. If you decide to retire, kudos to you, man. May you find happiness in all your future endeavors. Now, with that being said, guys, we have reached the end of this episode. Guys, please subscribe, like, comment on the video, share this with your friends, families, and partners. Don't forget that desire is power. If you desire to be great, you have the power to be great. Thank you for watching another episode of One from the End Zone. I appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for more.